Good morning and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I am Raghav and I'll be the Sergeant at Arms for the day. Welcome you all to the June 25th edition of the Orators in the Cloud Toastmasters Meet. Since today's topic is on space, I would like to share few interesting quotes on space. One small step for a man is a giant leap for a mankind by Neil Armstrong. The earth is the cradle of humanity, but mankind cannot stay in the cradle forever by Constantine. There may be many reasons why we have started our discoveries and explorations in space, but one of the most important and trivial reasons for us to start discovery is to find life outside Earth and also find a Earth-like planet so that we are prepared to travel before the doomsday nears. So to, hoping to keep discovering and exploring in space and be ready for what comes tomorrow. Today, our Toastmaster Hind would be taking us through a journey through space and would be sharing many interesting facts with all of us. Before we go ahead, I would like to state a few ground rules for the meet. Number one, please refrain from using any taboo topics like sex, religion, and politics. Second, please always switch on your videos and keep yourself muted. If, and also keep yourself muted and so that it doesn't disturb the other speakers. And also please refrain from using mobile phones and switching between screens. Now, I would like to hand over the meet to Toastmaster Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghav. Good evening, everyone, and good afternoon, Phil. Almost 52 years ago, a large crowd was gathered in the southern US state of Florida. They were gathered around this huge grassy field. Everyone was waiting with their bated breath. Everyone was looking out in the anticipation as the loudspeaker screamed, T-30 to ignition. Everyone became even more excited. A few seconds later, the speaker at the other end of the loudspeaker started the countdown. The countdown ended with T-1, ignition and liftoff. That was the moment that realized the dreams of an entire generation. An entire generation looked as 3 American astronauts hurled their way towards the moon aboard the Apollo 11 spacecraft, which was being boosted by the Saturn V booster. Space is the final frontier. That's what Star Trek believes, and that's what I believe in as well. I would love to take you through the journey of space travel that has come before us and that might lie ahead of us. But before we do that, good evening once again, everyone. My name is Hind and I will be your Toastmaster for the day. Toastmaster, this is a regular meeting and it will be divided into 3 sections. First, the prepared speech section, second, the table topic sections, and finally, third, the evaluation section. My job will be to host this meeting from one section to another. Before we lift off into our first section, I think it'll be really helpful if you get to know your crew members. You have already met me, your space pilot. It's now time for you to meet the quality head of our spacecraft, our general evaluator, Toastmaster Srinivasan. Please welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hind. And thank you for making me quality head of this ambitious expedition into space. All right, everyone. The major differentiator between the humankind and the animal kingdom is the ability to think. And what do we think about? We think about what we want to wear for the day, what we want to eat for the time, morning, evening, and dinner, and whatnot. But we also think about how do we improve ourselves? How do we improve ourselves from yesterday to today and from today to tomorrow? And this journey always continues. This is one of the reasons why we are able to go through the space journey as well. Here we are as part of the Toastmasters Club to improve our communication skills on this journey. To help on this, we have to understand and get some feedback on how we are performing, how is our speech style, and so on. To help on this, I have an able team with me, which is called as the tag team, which comprises of the timer, AhCounter, and Grammarian. Now let me introduce every one of you, every one of them to the crew present here, so that you will be able to understand what are their roles. Let me invite upon the stage timer Divya.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, everyone. My name is Divya, timer for today's meeting. The two most powerful barriers are patience and time. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. And also we know time is really precious. Kalpana Chawla, she died because of few seconds difference of before the landed. So we get to know that time is very precious. My role as timer in today's meeting is to time each speaker on the stage. And also for the speakers, I'll be showing up cards in my virtual background. For 5 minutes, green card, 6 minutes, yellow card, at 7 minutes, red card, and you'll be given 30 seconds buffer time. Next, coming to the table topic speakers, 1 minute green card, 1 minute 30 seconds yellow card, 2 minutes red card, and 30 seconds buffer time. Coming to the evaluators, 2 minutes green card, 2 minutes 30 seconds yellow card, 3 minutes red, and 30 seconds of buffer. Crossing if you don't meet the upper first limit, like green card timings, and exceed the red card 30 seconds after the buffer timing, you will be disqualified. So pin my video so that you can see the cards raised upon and keep yourself noted about the time. I will be presenting my report at the end of the meeting when the general evaluator calls upon. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Divya, for the concise explanation of the timer role. Now let me call upon the AhCounter of the day, Toastmaster Phil, to explain his role in the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivasan. As AhCounter today, my job is to note our use of crutch words and pause fillers. Examples are words and phrases such as and, so, well, but, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds such as and These sounds are used naturally when we speak in conversation as an indication that we're not done yet and serve to prevent people from interrupting one another constantly. During a speech, of course, they're not needed and not wanted. You will tell us when you're done. Finally, I will note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I'll present my report and let everyone know how many times they've used each of the expressions. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Srinivasan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Phil. Now let us move on to the grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Shreya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivasan. Good afternoon, everybody present here. I'm Shreya, and today I'll be the grammarian. That means so that the crew today in our expedition speaks properly in a way that everybody understands to the max extent possible. I will ensure that people use the right, I will not ensure, I will try to help people use the right usages and avoid the bad usages of grammar. Along with that, I'm also introducing the word of the day. The word of the day is colossal. This is an adjective. It means extremely large or great. An example is a colossal amount of mail. Another example, there has been a colossal waste of public money. I encourage you guys to use this word as much as possible in your vocabulary. And please encourage the other speakers who use this today with a thumbs up. That's all I have for now. I'll be back in the second half of the meeting with my report. Back to you, GE Srinivasan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shreya. I am sure this expedition will also prove to be a colossal moment in the history of humanity. And just to sum up, as you would have heard about the tag team introduction, my role as a general evaluator is to give some general evaluation about the overall meeting and how the meeting has proceeded, and to ensure that as the quality head, the meeting, the overall expedition is successful and everyone's life is not a danger. With that, I would like to pass on the baton to the Toastmaster of the day, the captain of the ship, Toastmaster Hind.
Thank you once again, General Evaluator. Space has been mysterious. It has only started making sense to us very recently. We used to believe that Earth was flat. And for people who think that is such a stupid idea, remember that we used to believe that Earth was flat only 250 years ago. That's not a long time when you imagine that Earth itself is billions of years old. Humanity itself has been on this planet for thousands of years, and we used to believe that Earth was flat 250 years ago. But today we are hurling towards space with the colossal amount of energy behind us. We want to get there, and we want to prove to ourselves that we can be a spacefaring civilization. I'm not sure how many people in this room are truly interested about space travel, but here I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Who here knows the name of the first their foot on the moon? Anybody? Neil Armstrong, that's a correct one. Let's take one step back in the space flight. Who here knows the name of the person who was the first person to go into an orbital flight around Earth?
Yuri Gagarin.
Yuri Gagarin, that's a correct answer as well. And now the most important question. Who here knows the most important piece of scientific publication that led to the discovery of intercontinental ballistic missiles that eventually would lead to the possibility of space travel? I will take this silence as a no. That person was Robert H. Goddard. He wrote a scientific publication that was named A Method of Reaching Extreme Altitudes. That publication was key in realizing how liquid fuel can be used with to propel intercontinental ballistic missiles, the same concept that was eventually used to design boosters for spacecrafts. We have come a long way. We have come a long way from 1919, at the end of the First World War, when people had just started designing ICBMs, to 1962, when we first sent a human to the moon, to 2021, when we are thinking about going to Mars. I will take you on a further journey of this space flight and the possible spacefaring civilization that we will be. But before I give you that information, before I share that trivia with you, we will jump into the first section, the prepared speech section. The prepared speaker for today is Toastmaster Sumedh, and his evaluator will be Toastmaster Deepa. Before we get to the speech, I will invite Toastmaster Deepa to introduce the speech and lay out the purpose of the speech. Toastmaster Deepa, please welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hind, for the welcome. So I will be the evaluator for the speech by Toastmaster Sumedh. The topic for the speech is fire drill. This is about introduction to the Toastmasters mentoring. So as I understand, it would be about what is the Toastmasters experience as a protege. I would be evaluating the speech based on the clarity, the vocal variety, the gestures, eye contact, comfort level, interest, and the topic relevance. And once the speech is done, at the end, I would be submitting my report when called upon. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster Hind.
Thank you, Deepa. And now, for the showstopper of the day, as we enjoy the weightlessness of this spacecraft, let's invite the person who's going to engage us the most, and trying to not put pressure on him by saying that. Toastmaster Sumedh, fire drill, Toastmaster Sumedh.
My fellow Toastmasters, ladies, old people who just come to these meetings. My name is Sumedh. Thank you for being here. The story that I'm going to regale today happened to me. I was a part of this in the fall of 2009. 2009, I was in my 7th standard and I was a school-going kid. And I remember my school had a colossal auditorium wherein we used to have this Monday morning assemblies, right? So the general format of these assemblies was the first 20 minutes from 8:10 to 8:30, we would actually praise the Lord. I was in an convent school, and after that we would disperse back, go back to our class. And the deal. One such fine Monday morning, we were done praising the Lord, and we were about to disperse when our headmistress came up, and she had all of us. She said, and I quote, "Dear students, today we'll be having a fire drill at 12:30 p.m. All the very best. Please, please keep pin drop silence as you leave the auditorium." That was all she said. And all of us were confused. What are we supposed to do in a fire drill? No one had told us anything about it. And one of my friends turned around and he asked me, "Sumedh, what is this fire drill?" He was a pretty credulous, innocent kind of a guy back in the 7th class. Now I don't know how he is, but back then he was very credulous kind of guy, very trusty guy. And I told him, "Oh, they're going to burn down the building for insurance money." That was my response. I thought it would be funny. I thought it would be self-contained. I don't know whether it was funny, but it surely was not self-contained. That guy spread the rumor that there will be arsonists coming to our school and trying to burn it down. And the news spread like, for the lack of a better expression, wildfire, right? And so now we have a student population filled with paranoia. They think that the school is going to get burned down for insurance money, and probably their bags are going to get burned down as well. Along with that, what happened was no one actually spoke about the fire drill for the next 3-4 hours. So I'll just skip that whole part, come to 12:25. Now, this is what my school had in mind. They thought that at 12:25, all the teachers would leave the classrooms, go to their corridors or staircases just to streamline the exit. And then at 12:30, when the second bell rings, the students would orderly evacuate. Okay, what could possibly go wrong? The moment the first bell rang and the teachers started to evacuate, some paranoid people in the top floor, I don't know how they got paranoid. I'm not going to take any responsibility here. Some paranoid people on the top floor started to rumor around, and this is all conjecture. They started to rumor around saying that the teachers were escaping first, leaving the kids behind. And so about 600 people from the top floor started to rain down on the only 2 exits that our school had, right? So it was all chaos. And at that point, someone actually had the intelligence to take the hammer, break the fire switch, and press the fire alarms. Now, this caused confusion in the remaining teachers who thought there was an actual fire, something had actually gone wrong in the drill, and there was an actual fire. And so they started to they asked everyone to evacuate immediately. And so there was chaos everywhere. There were 3,000 people in that building. The target time for evacuation was 30 minutes. It took 1 hour, 27 minutes for all of us to evacuate. All right. Now, I'll cut the story short here. There are a lot of comic events which happened after that. I'll cut the story short here. And I'll ask you guys 2 questions. 1, what went wrong with the fire drill? Okay. And 2, why did I tell this story here? So I'll answer the first one for you. Well, the second one actually. I'm telling this story here because I'll quote my project. My project says, the purpose of this project is for the member, that is me or I, to clearly define how Toastmaster envisions mentoring. Okay. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of previous experience as a protege. Now, what I'm going to do is try to map the failure of the fire drill to what can be good, valuable lessons for mentoring. All right. All right. So let's look at what happened, what went wrong in the fire drill. First things first. What did the students know about the fire drill? Absolutely nothing. I started a rumor and that spread all across. There was no official communication from anyone in the school management or the school hierarchy, right? I think that was the first thing which was problematic. There was no communication, right? If you are leading someone, whether it be as a mentor or whether it be with some management level responsibilities, the first thing that you need to do is to explain to all the participants what is at stake, what are the goals, and communicate all of these things effectively. That was not done. There was one-liner given to us. We did not know what we had to do. And maybe they had planned all these things initially, but none of them worked out, right? The second thing to do was to deputize. They should have asked the class prefects to take care or to help in crowd control. They did not do any of that. And they took all the responsibility on themselves and they were overpowered easily, right? The third thing would be to understand the perspectives of how a student would feel in the given situation. In an evacuation, what is it that a student would go through, and try explaining what it is that they should be trying to do. They did not do any of that. As a matter of fact, I remember people laughing around. One person went to the washroom. No one actually cared about this. They thought they're never going to burn down the building ever. They thought the insurance money would not be enough. But having said all this, there were three things that I think were at major fault here. First, they should have communicated more effectively. Second, they should have deputized some responsibilities and held people accountable for it. And third would be try to understand what the perspectives of the other person is. I think these are the three things which every mentor in Toastmasters should actually use while they are training someone to be a better speaker or guiding someone to be a better speaker. And I think this example, although might not be the most relevant, but I could come up with this itself, can help push the point home. With that, I'd like to conclude. Thank you.
I believe Sumedh is a probable risk if carried in a real space flight. He might just call for a fire drill when there is no fire. He might call for a nuclear reactor burst when the flight is pretty much going so smoothly. Sumedh, do remind me in future, if I ever get a chance, to not invite you to the same space flight as me. Ladies and gentlemen, space flight is a very generic term. Human space flight is what catches our attention more than generic space flights. You know, we have a space shuttle that has reached the interstellar space. Interstellar is a term that most of the people in this room might have heard because of the movie. But can anybody tell me what interstellar means?
Between the stars.
That's correct. It's actually traveling between solar systems. That's interstellar. We believe in being an interplanetary civilization, which we are not today. We have not even set a foot on Mars. We have just sent metal robots. So we are a long way from being interstellar, but our robot friends are already interstellar. NASA has 5 space shuttles that have crossed our solar system's defined boundaries. They are so far away from us that they cannot see Earth anymore. If they were to send an image back to us, Earth would not even occupy a single pixel in that image. That's the kind of distance that they have from us. But no, we are not interested in that. We are interested in putting humans in space, right? That's where the interest is. That's why we watch Star Wars. That's why we watch Star Trek, and that's why we are very much interested in having a space shuttle that will just fly off the planet and then explore the galaxy, right? Human spaceflight is something that I'll talk to you guys about. But before I do that, I will invite our table topic master to throw surprise topics at you and put you at the edge of your speaking capabilities. Put your hands together in welcoming our table topic master of the day, Toastmaster Mamta.
Thank you, Hind. I'll be playing the role of table topic master. First of all, this is Mamta. I'm from the BETC, IBM BETC Toastmaster Club, and this is the first time I'm joining this club meeting. Welcome to the second part of today's meeting, that is the table topic round. Before we move ahead, I want to ask one question to all of you. Why we have this table topic round? Can anyone tell me?
To become better at impromptu speaking.
Yeah, correct thing. Yeah, so table topic in this round, you will be given a topic to say something spontaneously. This is going to check your presence of mind, how quick you are able to articulate your thoughts into words. So can I have the nominations, please? Okay, we have the first nomination, Phil. Okay. You can type your name in the chat window so that I can take up the nominations name.
No, it is.
Okay.
Is my voice audible? Vamsi.
Yeah.
Vamsi.
Okay, so we have second name, Vamsi. So now coming to the first, Phil. Phil, the topic for you is, if you are given a chance to choose 100 billion rupees, be on Earth, or get a space ticket and explore the beauties of universe, what would you choose?
I think I would choose to explore the universe. Much as now, here I show my lack of knowledge. I'm not actually sure how much money you've just offered me, and so I'm taking the certain option. I know what I'm getting. Now, did you say 100 billion or 100 million? Regardless, it sounds like it's probably a lot of money, and that's the point of the question that I'm being asked. However, it could equally be that you're offering me nothing more than a quick meal out with my friends. Consequently, an exploration of the universe, which could last a lifetime and could show us so many things. The universe is colossal, infinite practically, although I gather not actually, and far more than one could expect to see in a lifetime. Even traveling to nearby planets, I'm sure, would be a truly fascinating experience. But being able to pass between the stars and see things that no human will ever see is something that I think is truly what I would choose. It's the thing that would be worthwhile to me. And with that, I'm going to hand it back. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, very truly said that this universe is very colossal and gigantic, and we should explore the beauties of the universe. Thank you, Phil. The second we have Vamsi. Vamsi, the topic for you is, if you wake up one day and find yourself with Neil Armstrong, what would you do next? I repeat, if you wake up one day and find yourself with Neil Armstrong, what would you do next?
I will jump out of my bed and I will shout, Neil Armstrong is no more. So imagining Neil Armstrong by my side sounds a scary movie to me. Nevertheless, stepping into an imaginary world where Neil Armstrong appears younger, fresh from his moon travel, the first thing I would actually ask him is to give me a piece of stone that he collected from moon. You know, it worth millions. The first option that you gave, that to fill whether he wants money or he wants to go to share space. A piece of moon rock really worth so much. So the first thing I would ask Neil Armstrong would be to give me that piece of stone. And yeah, over a cup of coffee or tea, whatever he likes, I would like to understand what really he struggled to actually be to the travel that he made. And we have watched movies how the travel has been, but I would like to get a first-hand encounter, record it with the new digital technology, a video recording, and then archive it, and again earn some money from that. Nevertheless, it would be only a non-technical discussion with him, because space is something which I did not study more. I cannot ask him more. I mean, I will talk a little bit more from my side to see any common ground, what I can, how I can extend my conversation with him. I believe that's what Toastmaster teaches us all about, that to be comfortable with people who are strangers and also find a common ground, not to fear so much. And basically, even the table topics will help us to achieve that. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Vamsi. What a wish. A cup of tea with Neil Armstrong and a stone from the moon. Very well thought. Thank you, Vamsi. Can we have the next nominations? Okay, we have Shreya. Okay. Shreya, the topic for you is, tell me all lies about black holes. I repeat, tell me all lies about black holes.
Tell me all lies about black holes, like LIES, lies?
Yeah. You don't need to say the exact thing, what is black hole. You can create your imaginary black hole and tell something about that. Yeah.
Okay. See, they always say that orange is the new black. So I don't think a black hole should actually be black in color. I would like to have maybe a more exciting color than black, because everything else around in space looks black. So if a black hole is also black, what's the point of it? So I'd like to have a black hole that is probably like maybe red in color, because it will be visible from, like much farther away. And I'd like this hole to be something like, if you have watched Harry Potter, you would know that Hermione Granger has this bag, which looked this tiny, but it was like a bag where you put your hand inside and you get literally everything under the universe inside that bag. I would like this hole also to be somewhat similar. So it's a red hole. And once you get in, it's not just a hole, it's a whole universe inside the hole. So that's the kind of black hole that I envision. I do understand that there are, what is that, Hadron Collider or whatever in Switzerland that is also looking up a black hole currently. I hope that they also find something similar to what I'm talking about right now, as I feel that would be much more exciting than maybe discovering something that can consume the whole of the universe by itself. Well, that's my imagination of what a black hole should look like. And that's all that I have. Thank you, Mamta. Back to you.
Thank you, Shreya. You have completely changed the definition of black holes. Moving ahead, next one would be a debate. So I need 2 volunteers for the topic and against the topic. Can we have 2 volunteers? Okay, first we have Sumedh, second one. Okay, fine. We have Khavita. Okay, so Sumedh and Khavita. Okay, so this is going to be a debate round. The topic for you is space research project. Is it a wastage of money? I repeat, space research project. Is it a wastage of money? Sumedh, are you for the motion?
I'll let Kavita decide.
I'll go for favor of it.
Okay.
And I'm against.
Over to you, Kavita.
Yeah, space research is scientific study carried out in outer space and studying outer space, right? So many of us are not knowing about space very much. Like the previous table topic speaker mentioned, if Neil Armstrong is coming, as soon as he wakes up, he'll not be aware of very much to ask about his space thing. So it would be great if we had launched so many projects, even in schools and colleges, so that people will be trying to go for choosing the different courses in the higher education. Even still, people are, after finishing 12th standard, they are tending to choose for medicines or CAs or engineering, right? So still, so many students are not have the intuition about the space. So we have to bring this topic at school level or college level, so that if someone is interested to become an astronaut, they can go for it. And still, there are so many lot of things which we don't know about the space. Definitely, it's worthy for our future generation. Over to you.
Thank you, Kavita.
Thank you,
Sumedh, over to you.
Thank you, TTM. In the middle of the pandemic, when the world economy is tanking, students not getting jobs, people not having enough food to eat, I question whether this is the time when we need to explore space. I mean, we have not even explored half of Bangalore in the first place. Let's do that first. So instead, rather than spending time on something which may or may not yield results, let's look at what we currently have got to work with and spend more money. That's all my argument is going to be. In the past, when JFK famously started the space wars or the space race to go to the moon, it was a show of dominance against USSR. It wasn't for a scientific purpose. Later on, it molded, it pivoted from a domination aspect to more of a scientific effort, right? Currently, we don't need that science to figure out that people are dying here in the earth. Therefore, the money that we would ideally spend on space projects, we should actually spend on making conditions better in the earth. And God help us, if we are successful in making sure that the quality of life is better in earth, we probably don't have to worry about space anyway. I think that's going to be my argument to say that we don't need space projects right now. What we need, we have other things on the priority list that needs to be taken care first. That's all I had. Over to you.
Thank you, Sumedh. Well, very valid points noted by Kavita and Sumedh both. We need this space research because so that our future generation and we also can know about the universe we are living. And we also need all the budgets should be allocated to first healthcare. And after that, we can think about the space things. Well, next, can we have the next nomination? If we don't get the nomination, we can close this table topic round and move ahead with the evaluation part. Okay, we have Srinivasan. Okay. Srinivasan, the topic for you is our ISRO. I repeat, the topic for you is our ISRO.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mamta. Well, it seems I got the shortest topic of the whole lot, but this topic is one of the one which is very close to my heart. ISRO, the first instance of me meeting an ISRO person was when I was in my 9th standard, or even someone very close to ISRO, and he was our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. We met during an science expedition, science exhibition in one of the Amartya universities. And the passion I saw in him, even when he was over 70 years, and when I was just in my 15th or 14th year, was just amazing. That day, I knew that ISRO is special. Over the past few years, we have obviously followed on many success and failures of ISRO. But the one thing that stands out in ISRO is the never say never attitude. I remember that I have followed all the major expeditions of ISRO the past few years. The success of the Mars mission and the very, very close failure of the Chandrayaan-2 mission is always present in my mind. I was looking for a job in ISRO as well, but unfortunately, the trajectory was different due to multiple circumstances. But the heart has always remained with ISRO and its success. So, looking forward to always trying to contribute in any way possible, and wish all the best, all the success to ISRO even during this pandemic. That's it from my side. Over to you, Table Topics.
Thank you, Srinivasan. With this, we are done with the table topic round. Thank you for all your nominations. Well, that was very engaging and interesting with all the speeches. So we can move ahead with the third part, evaluation round. For that, over to you, Hind, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mamta. What an amazing table topic session. We got red black holes. I mean, calling that is kind of oxymoronic, but I'm not sure. Maybe start calling them red holes. And here, as a person who reads a little bit on space and physics stuff, astrophysics stuff, I would like to dispel a myth. Large Hadron Collider is not trying to create a black hole. It is just trying to study what happens when protons and electrons moving at the speed close to light, when they collide, what happens? And that certainly does not create a black hole. Having dispelled that myth, let's talk about human space travel. Can anybody tell me when Apollo 11 took flight? Apollo 11 was the first spacecraft that took humans to the moon. Does anybody know when that took flight? Which year was it? All right, it was 1969. 1969, 16th of July 1969 was when Apollo 11 took flight. Over the next 3 years, NASA sent 7 more spacecraft to the moon, ending with Apollo 17. Apollo 17 was the last mission to go to the moon in 1972. And now, can anybody tell me how far is moon from Earth? Well, I don't suppose you have the answer ready in your head, so I'll tell you myself. Moon is more than 380,000 kilometers from Earth. That's how far humans have been too. Let me correct my statement. That's how far humans had gone till 1972. Ever since, humans have not gone beyond International Space Station. And do you know how high International Space Station flies? International Space Station flies at an altitude of 400 kilometers. So we went till 380,000 kilometers and now we are satisfied with 400 kilometers. Weird, right? But I'll tell you why this happened. As Sumedh rightly pointed out in his table topic speech, Apollo mission was a show of dominance. It was not going to give anything in return to anybody but dominance. US government put in $28 billion, which if you inflate to today, it amounts to almost $300 billion. That's more than the GDP of 140 countries. Can you imagine that? That's the amount of money that they put in the Apollo mission for what? For having people step on the moon. It was not giving anybody any returns. But why is it different today? Why are we talking about going back to the moon, going to the Mars? Why are we talking about it? It's because now we see purpose. Now we think there's a value. Now we think that if we put satellites in our orbit, we can get faster internet. Now we think that if we can build suborbital space flights, we can go from one place to other on Earth in a very short span of time, from London to Sydney within an hour, something that takes an air carrier 20 hours today. We want to go to space again because asteroid mining is a real thing now. We want to go to moon because getting off the moon to go to other planets is easier. It might still be cool. It might still be cool to go to space, because who doesn't love being an astronaut? Come on, let's face it. Who doesn't want to witness Earth from an altitude of 200 kilometers, being in an orbit, feeling weightless? But today it has purpose. And that's why we're going back to space. And that's why in our lifetime, we will see a human step foot on the Mars. And we will watch with our bated breath, like the people who did 52 years ago, like the people who watched Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. We will, in our lifetime, watch one person step foot on Mars. That's all from my end as a Toastmaster today. I will now leave you with our general evaluator for the evaluation panel of this amazing meeting. Please welcome Toastmaster Srinivasan as the general evaluator to carry on the last section of the meeting, that is the evaluation section. Toastmaster Srinivasan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hind. As Hind mentioned, we have already had a couple of fantastic sessions, being the prepared speech and the table topics. Now let's move on to the third section, which is the evaluation. And first, let me call upon the first speech evaluator, Toastmaster Deepa, to give her evaluation of the speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Deepa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivasan. So I had the good fortune of evaluating Toastmaster Sumedh on his speech. To start with, let me tell you, it was a colossal challenge for me to evaluate because he is a very good speaker, right? So having said that, there are a few points which I have noted down, which I would want to talk about. He has a good storytelling style. He started off well with the story, right? He didn't even come to the topic to start with. He just started with the story, and then at the end connected to the topic and what are the three things that every mentor to look at. So I liked that connection. I liked how he brought the learnings out. He had also used some real good words during his speech, like paranoia, spreading like wildfire. He had good gestures on as well. So he was able to get that connect and get the humor of the story as well. So I think that was a good connect. Just a few things which I just to challenge him and for him to work on. One is of course very obvious. I think it's almost come to the end of the time when he finished his speech. It was post the red, right? So that is the one thing that, just be cognizant of the time and space your speech according to that. The other is, well, you started off with a story. I think it would have been even more impactful if we had started with some impactful start, right? Imagine hundreds of school students running around, complete chaos. So, start off with that, something which catches the attention, and then get into the speech and telling that story. I think that would have added a little to the speech. The other thing is, I think that is anyway a challenge for all of us, is to look at the screen, especially in the virtual setting, right? You tend to sort of look to the side, especially when you're putting your words together. That's the only thing, especially now everyone is looking at the screen. So that is the only thing that it would have been better if you looked at the screen and looked at the people. But those were my only observations, but otherwise it was a great speech and great learning on mentoring as well that we all got out of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the exceptional evaluation, Toastmaster Deepa. Now let's move on to the tag team's reports. First, let me call upon the timer of the day, Toastmaster Divya, to give her timer report.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for calling it on. Can we go with the Grammarian and AhCounter and add time their report also?
Sure. Okay. Let me go to the AhCounter and Grammarian and then come back to you. All right. Let me invite the AhCounter of the day, Phil, to give us AhCounter report of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivasan. Let me start by saying that I am very much aware that one of the very first things I did was say I think one of the reasons of taking this particular role is to try and make oneself self-aware, and I can, there we go again. However, the point is not just for me to understand what I'm doing, it's for me to help everyone else. And to that end, I tallied all of the crutch words, all of the pauses that people used. Raghav, you had just one and a repeat. You had a few small stumbles, and I think simply taking a breath would help a lot. Presiding Officer Hind, you do a brilliant job avoiding all kind of crutch words and crutch noises. What you do tend to do, though, is repeat yourself. So you'll start something, you're going fast, and you'll repeat what you're saying. I think the timer and the grammarian both did excellent jobs. General evaluator, you had a few ums and ers as well. Table topic master, you use a lot of ers, even compared to myself, and I'm aware that I use a lot. You use it very much as a punctuation noise. In the table topics, I think Vamsi and Shreya both started very strong, and in fact, Srinivasan started very strong as well. As you went along, you could have afforded to take a few more pauses and calm down, because the number of crutches increased as you went. And Sumedh, in your speech, the main thing that I noticed, you were going very fast, which occasionally caused you to trip up, but your big usage of words is right and all right. So you are using these kind of as a school teacher might to determine understanding of people, but people aren't going to respond here, and you might be better just to consider pausing, looking at the various screens, and that will hopefully tell you whether people are taking in your message. With that, back to you, General Evaluator Srinivasan.
Thank you for the concise report, Toastmaster Phil. Now let me call upon the Grammarian of the day, Shreya, to give her Grammarian report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivasan. I think we have done excellently today in terms of grammar. Apart from a few glitches, I could not find a lot of mistakes. And there was a very clear pattern that was noticed. All the good usages of grammar came from the prepared sections, whereas most of the mistakes came from either the evaluation section or from the table topic section, which means unprepared. So it looks like people, when they prepare with the correct grammar usage, but when they don't, they make more mistakes, which is expected. Apart from, I'll also go on to word by word, but before that, let me say that we used the word of the day colossal 5 times. I'm not very colossally happy about the usage. I wish it would have been a bit more, but at least most of the prepared speakers did use it in their speech one time or another. So thank you and kudos to all of you. Having said that, let me get on to the good usage of grammar today. Hurling towards space, spacefaring civilization, intercontinental ballistic missile, showstopper of the day, show of dominance, interplanetary capabilities, interstellar travel. There was credulous, arsonists, evacuate orderly, conjecture, exploration of universe, colossal, infinite, practically, which was used at the same time, which was nice, fascinating experience. And the thing that I really liked today was there were quite a few alliterations that were used. One was bated breath, failure of fire drills, crowd control, fresh from travel. That's at least 5 that I just said right now, and I don't know if I missed some more as well. After that, I'll come to some of the wrong things that I noticed. The first one I noticed was people are combining sentences and questions in the same sentence. So when you say first part of the sentence as a sentence, you cannot say what are you doing as, you cannot say something and what are you doing. You can say something and what, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, let me give an example. There was a sentence that was used and then it was connected with connected and what are the learnings. It should be connected and what the learnings are. You cannot ask a question as part of the sentence. I see that the red timer is on me. So let me just say a few things that I noticed. Quick, you are able to articulate. It should be quick, how quickly you are able to articulate, because it's an adjective there. Coming to the beauties of universe, I think it should be beauty of universe. Many of us are not knowing about space very much. I think it could have been said something like many of us are not very aware of space. And one other thing was one close to my heart. I think it could have been said one of the most important things close to me, or something of that sort. Another usage of the question, we decide how we improve ourselves. There was something wrong there. It could have been said, how do we improve ourselves? That should have been the question. I'll leave the rest to individual people who want to get the feedback from me, as I'm out of time. So thank you, and back to you, GE Srinivasan.
Thank you for the detailed report, Toastmaster Shreya. Now let me call upon the timer again to give the timer's report.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Can I share my screen?
Yep, sure.
Yes. So here's my screen. Essay Rhagava took 1 minute 46 seconds. TMoD Hind, the whole session, he took 11 minutes 9 seconds. General Evaluator, the introduction session took 6 minutes. AhCounter Fit took 2 minutes 21 seconds. Grammarian Shreya 3 minutes 30 seconds. Evaluator 1, Deepa 2 minutes 34 seconds. Speaker 1, he overshoot his time by 11 seconds, by taking 7 minutes 41 seconds. Vamsi 1 minute 55 seconds. Phil 1 minute 14 seconds. Shreya 1 minute 21 seconds. And the debate between Sumedh and Khavita, they took 1 minute 47 seconds and 1 minute 27 seconds individually. Srinivasan took 1 minute 44 seconds. So except the speaker, everyone were on the time, and that was and we started the meeting 5 minutes late, and the table topic session went little over time. I think we can look after that and maintain the meeting properly. That's all from my side. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Divya, for the timer report. All right, I think we have heard all the evaluation and feedback from the TAG team. Now it is on to give some general feedback on the overall meeting. Okay, so as the timer mentioned just now, the meeting started somewhat late, like we were around 5 minutes late, but I feel that should be okay. The overall meeting went pretty well. So the flow was very good, and the space exploration, this journey is going currently on a smooth sail. Congrats to everyone on that. The essay initially started well, and the content was pretty good, but I feel that the SAA could have added some more vocal variety to add some more energy in the start of the meeting. And incidentally today, the presiding officer and the Toastmaster are the same. Now, I just felt that the differentiation was not there between the presiding officer's address and the TMoD's introduction. Maybe there could have been some differentiation there, but again, the flow was pretty good, and you seamlessly took us to the first section of the meeting. And moving on to the speaker gave a pretty good story, and it was a pretty engaging one. And we were really looking as if we were the ones running out of our classrooms to the gates in a hurry. But I just felt that it just took some long amount of time for the story to complete, and the connection to be made between the story and the learnings for the mentor-mentee relationship. Maybe if the transition happened during the green time card, it could have given some more time for the speaker to make the relationship more clear and have some time for the conclusion as well. And I am really happy with the table topic session we had today. It was, first of all, kudos to everyone who volunteered. The volunteering was instantaneous, and we had many people jostling to get their speeches. So that was pretty good. And I was really surprised that the whole session was kind of humorous, where we were going on a space expedition and it was supposed to be serious. But and on a humorous note for me as well, as a quality head, I was really not comfortable to have a debate on whether we need to spend on space research or not. Guys, come on, we are going on a space expedition. And yeah, I mean, but again, even that debate was handled pretty well. And especially kudos to the timer for displaying her cards very diligently, and it was a very helpful to everyone present here to see all the cards in a proper way. And finally, the TMoD did a brilliant job as the captain. Only that the overall time for the journey could have been slightly short. At the end, it seems the red card was hit and some more time was taken. But overall, I mean, this was an excellent meeting in all aspects of the table topics and the speeches and overall Toastmaster journey. So that's from my side, and over to you for concluding remarks.
Thank you, General Evaluator. At the end of our meetings, what we generally do is we float out a couple of forms for voting on the best table topics as well as best role takers. So right now we are going to do that. Toastmaster Phil is going to put in 2 links in our chat of this meeting. I would request everyone to please open those links and vote for your best table topics, best speaker, and best evaluator. One thing to note over here is every speaker is contesting for best speaker. That is, it does not just include Sumedh. There will be TMoD, prepared speaker, SAA, and table topics master. All 4 of them will be contesting for best speaker. Similarly, best evaluator will be contested by general evaluator, prepared speech evaluator, and the tag team. Please go ahead and cast your votes on the links that have been shared by Toastmaster Phil. I see 9 responses on the table topics form, and I see 9 responses on the best speaker and evaluator form as well. So I'm guessing one person has not voted on either of them, and I suppose that's fine. Let's go ahead and declare our winners. The best table topics for today is actually a tie. Surprise, surprise, it's a tie between Shreya and Vamsi. Congratulations, although Vamsi has left, but congratulations, Shreya, for being the best table topic speaker. Best speaker, the best speaker of the meeting is me. Thank you for all who voted for me. And the best evaluator is Toastmaster Divya. You did an amazing job as the timer, and I think it's very well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now we are at the tail end of our meeting. We are at the tail end of our journey. We have taken a trip through Moon, Mars, and the entire galaxy. We are ready to land back on this planet. But before we do that, I'd like to thank everybody for taking their time out and joining this meeting. I would also like to welcome I'd also like to extend a belated welcome to our guest Scarlett, who joined a little late, so we could not formally introduce her. Scarlett, if you have anything to say about the meeting, anything to say about the entire proceedings that happened, feel entirely free to do that. And I would actually request you to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for letting me join. It was very interesting, very insightful to see all these presentations. I really enjoyed the turntables, sorry, my cat's there. The on the spot presentations is very impressive to see people really talk on the fly. But anyway, I'm Scarlett. I work in the Dublin office with Phil, and Phil introduced me to this, so it's great to be here.
Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you for joining in. And as I speak these words, our spaceship has just touched down. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. The door is to your right. I'll see you another time on another ship. Till then, do take care and all the best.